Hello YouTube. It's me, Jamie, here. Just putting a quick video together for the benefit of my cousin Emlyn to talk about how to move around safely in Eve, particularly when you're exploring in low and null security systems, when you're a bit more vulnerable to nasty hunting people who want to do you damage. And I'm here in Aldborough, which is a high security system actually, so it's not so dangerous. And the first thing I want to talk about is a routine that I've gotten into when I first come into a system. The first thing I do, I'm just going to cloak, is to make a save point. And the way to do this, I'm just going to open up the map quickly. Where am I? That's not my system. Is to look at where you are on the map. So I'm here right by this gate, and pick an arbitrary Celestial Aldborough 5, and we're going to warp to it, and on the way we're going to drop a bookmark, and we're going to use that as a save point. So let's open up our people and places. Lots of save points in there already. I've actually got one for Aldborough already too, and so we'll have to imagine that I haven't cloaked or anything. Let's go to Aldborough 4. Aldborough 4. That's a fair distance away. So we're just going to warp to within, say, 100 kilometers of it or something. Oh hi, who's that? No, I can't do that while I'm cloaked. This is why I'm doing this in a high security system, because I will inevitably make mistakes. And while we're on the way, you'll see when you warp off, distances will just increase. You can add the location, wait till you're kind of a little way away from anything, submit your point, and there you have it. A new save point. So that's literally kind of the first thing I do when I'm coming into a lower or null security system, is make sure I've got a point that's kind of off grid, away from stuff. You can probably find it on the map actually. Right now I'm sat right by a planet, which is a bad idea if you're in a null system. Don't do that. We're going to warp to our save point.
Warp drive active.
And you'll see the little blob move in just a second. There we go. So you won't be impossible to track down, but you'll certainly be harder. And once you're there, you can, do your thing. Sit there, launch your probes, cloak up, open up the scanning interface and do your worst. There's nothing in this system for me to scan, but if there were, you can bet I'd be scanning it. So what else do I do? This is worth doing. Kind of just get into the habit of doing it whenever you arrive in a system. Just warp off to a random Celestial. If you can, scan it on D-scan first and see whether there's anyone hanging around there or not. There isn't usually, unless they're doing planetary interaction or something like that. But yeah, then find a safe spot, then use it. It's a good thing to have just as like a random bolt hole if you do get attacked at a gate or anything like that. Or to a line too, if you happen to be hacking on somewhere, and then you can get away quickly and it won't be predictable where you warp off to. The other thing I do nowadays is there's a mantra. I'm going to recover my probes before I forget that I've got them there. Don't warp gate to gate, ever. So if you come into a system and you open up, you have I can't say that, local open, and there's no one in there but you. Now there's 2 people in here, but we're going to ignore them just for the purposes of this exercise. I'm going to warp to a gate and pretend that we just got there. Now, the reason we don't warp from gate to gate is because players, well, it can only really happen in nullsec, I think, like to place mobile warp disruptors around gates, which create what's called a warp bubble. And when you get caught in one of those, you can't activate your warp engine, so you can't get away quickly. You have to slow boat through the warp bubble, and this is what players use to trap you in place before they shoot you and take your cargo. And the reason that you don't go from gate to gate is that most commonly these are placed on the trajectory or the path between 2 gates, because it's the most common path that players tend to take when they're travelling from system to system trying to get somewhere. So an unsuspecting player comes into a system, targets the next gate on their destination and warps to it and gets caught in a bubble. Now some of them, if you place them behind the gate, are called drag bubbles, and they'll drag you, say, 100 kilometers out past the gate, so you have to get back to it. Oh, hi, who's that? You have to get back to it, and at that point, you know, you're very, very vulnerable unless you can cloak and you still have some velocity to speak of. So one of the things you can do is, if you have a save point, say if you're, where am I? I'm at this gate. So if I say I'm going to the Aster gate, you could warp to your safe point first. Now I actually have one set up right by the gate, and I'll show you how to use this one in a minute. Or you could warp to a random celestial which is not in line with the gate, although we shouldn't use these ones because there are actually gates there. Are there gates there? Yes. So that would still be path between the gates. So you wouldn't bounce off of a celestial with a gate at it. You could go to the sun. We'll use this one. So we'll warp to 100 off of this planet, first of all. And having got there, we'll then warp to the, I don't know how to say that, Easter, maybe it's the Easter gate. Look at that, that's just gorgeous. And then we could try to jump through. I'm not going to try to jump through right now.
Warp drive active.
It goes without saying that the more information you have about what's around a gate at any time, the better prepared you can be for getting through it. So the most logical option, so if you have a save point that's right by a gate, I have, so I'm just going to warp to that one now. This is what's known as a perch, because you'll be sitting kind of right nearby, above the gate, or right next to it, but far enough away yeah, this isn't a great one because I actually appear on grid to these people. So, but you could cloak and then descan the game. So the way to do that is if we align to it, then we can see where it is very easily. So you set the directional scanner it can be fairly short range. You can use the D-scan to figure out what's at a particular point, a particular distance away from you. If you use a narrow angle, 15 degrees is usually fine because I'm not too precise. You can scan, you can see there the gate's empty. I used to, as a last resort, if I couldn't get near a gate, say at a Celestial or something like that. Let's do that actually. I'll find one of the other gates in the system and get near it, and we can de-scan it without being on grid. So we'll walk to 100 off of this planet.
Warp drive active.
So my channels are going crazy. Yeah, I'm on the Eve Scout channels, which is to do with the corporation I'm a part of, Signal Cartel, who are a dedicated exploration and scanning corp. Look out for us. We're a nice bunch. So here we are. We've arrived at our planet, right by the not that one. Where's my gate? Oh, we'll see it here. Right by the Fildar gate. So if we align to it, which one is it? There we are. Let's stop the ship. So we can cloak up, and it's within an astronomical Australian unit, as I've heard them called. And we can see there again, there's nothing at the gate. We're safe to walk through. So you may sometimes see mobile warp disruptors pop up on here, or even ships. Sometimes they don't have a distance associated with them. There'll just be a line there. And what you can do is just manually enter an amount in there, and you'll be able to see the point at which they drop off the scan. So in this case, we'll do this in kilometers, and if we drop that to say 100,000, you'll see the gate drops off the scan because it's not as far out as what we're scanning, within 0.5 astronomical units. There it is. So we know it's within half an AU, and you can do that in KMs or AU. AU is easier. The other thing that we can do is, for example, you have a planet, a gate rather, that's out of D-scan range. You'll notice your D-scan can only scan up to 14.3 astronomical units, which is great for here. But if we want to look at what is this, John? I'm going to say something rude if I'm not careful. The John Dyke. No, I don't want to warp or align to it. The John Dyke gate, where is that? We cannot scan that gate. It's too far away. Is there anything else there? There is. So we could go to the planet, but if there wasn't a planet there, we'd be stuck. So one of the things we can do is to dump our capacitor. What this will do, if you don't have enough capacitor to warp to the gate, you'll be placed at the point between here and the gate where your capacitor runs out. So currently my capacitor's full. If I warped there, I would get there quite easily. So you have to get rid of part of your capacitor in order to get there. So one of the things you do to do that, you just have to spend all your capacitor up. So you warp to another point. As you're aligning, you stop the ship, and you'll see it eats up part of the capacitor. The same again, warp. As you're aligning, stop the ship, and then I've lost a quarter of my capacitor already. Warp, stop the ship. And it does it quite slowly for me because this ship is horribly efficient. It's only little.
Warp drive active.
So I have to do this a couple of times just to get it into that last quarter. Now, ideally, I'll empty it.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active.
Stop.
Warp drive active.
So we're getting there. If I let it creep up, it'll all be for nothing.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active.
So, did you hear the little warning there?
Warp drive active.
That's saying you don't have enough capacitor to get where you're going.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active.
A couple more and we should be there.
Active. Warp drive active.
Okay.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active.
How much capacity is left? We're nearly there.
Warp drive active.
This time it should be fine. Right.
Warp drive active.
So we shouldn't be able to make it to the whole distance. Only we did. Okay, so I'm going to do this again with the Easter gate, just to demonstrate this. So the aim here is to get it to zero capacitor.
Warp drive active.
So, epic fail. Sorry.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active. Warp drive active.
There we go.
Warp drive.
Yeah, did you see the message pop up there? So we'll do it again. And this time,
Warp drive active.
there we go. There is insufficient power to warp all the way to the target. And basically, it'll get you as far as it can. And you can just do this to get yourself close enough to the gate that you can scan it. I'm not close enough to the gate, so I'm going to have to do it a couple of times. So it takes a little bit of patience.
Warp drive active. 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 Warp drive active.
And again.
Warp drive active.
And now we've landed within 12 AUs of the gate, so we should be able to scan it. And there we go. You can see someone in a Vindicator at the gate. Let's have a look, see what's a Vindicator. Oh, it's a Tech 2 battleship. Yeah, look at that. So were we in nullsec, we would avoid that. They'll probably just walk off in a second. There we go. So you can keep an eye on the gates in this way. And you can actually do a safe log off here. And you could sit here all day waiting for downtime to finish. Then jump back on very quickly. Run through your gate camp system. And no one would catch you. That's pretty much all I've got time for today. Thanks for joining me. And I'll see you in space. Bye.